Hey guys, so I thought I would walk you through a beginner's guide to sourdough. So before we get started, I am going to feed my sourdough starter because everything that I've read says that a really good batch of sourdough starts with a properly fed sourdough starter. So anyhow, let me get my dough starter. Let me get my starter. This is my starter. It's very bubbly, kind of sour smelling. So I'm going to mix it all up. I'm gonna discard some of it because there's a lot in here. So I'm gonna discard some of it, and I might actually make sourdough pancakes tomorrow with the discard. Nick will like that. So I'm gonna discard some of it. Give me 1 second. So the next step, now that I've gotten rid of a portion of it, is to put in some more flour and some more water. So that is what I'm gonna do. So I'm just gonna mix this all up. It is tough. So I did start my starter from scratch. I am not an expert by any means. I did a ton of research. My friend Elle, she helped me out a bit. So yeah, we'll see how this goes. It's only my third loaf ever of sourdough bread, and the last one was way better than the first one. So we'll hope that this one turns out good. That's where I'm gonna leave you guys off. Let this sourdough starter kind of kick in, do its magic, and I will catch back in with you guys later at like 11 p.m. Hey guys, so I'm back again. It is now almost midnight, and I'm going to start the first part of the sourdough, and I think it's called the Levian, I don't know. I'll look it up and probably put it right there. So, I put it in a little like Tupperware and started off that way. This just goes and sits overnight. So we're going to put actually, come look. So it has grown a lot. It probably started where just where this elastic band was, and it grew all the way up there. So it doubled in size, which means it is ready to go. So I'm gonna put a tablespoon of that in here with 50 grams of water and stir that around. So I'll show you that. So I'm gonna just mix that all up and put it covered and set it aside. And that's what it looks like. Hey everybody, it is now the next day. It is 12 o'clock, so the recipe calls for you to let that Levian, I did look it up, it's Levian, probably pronouncing it wrong, but anyway. You're supposed to let the Levian sit for about 12 hours, and this is what mine looks like now. I'm gonna use 50 grams of the Levian in the next step. Now what I have left is the 50 grams. I'm gonna add, let me just check my recipe here, 170 grams of water to it and do that mixing first. And 170 grams. So in my opinion, this kind of looks like a cereal milk mixture before you add in the flour. And I'm gonna add in now 170 grams of white flour. So now that the 170 grams of flour is in there, I'm just gonna mix it up and let it sit again. So this is what the second step looks like. Now I'm gonna let this sit for 6 hours and we are gonna do the next step then. So that'll bring us to around 6 o'clock. I did wanna share one little tip. I buy my flour in big bulk, whether that be from the bulk barn or just the grocery store. So I get like a 20-kilo bag of flour. So I bought this from the dollar store. It's just like one of those cereal containers. And I put my flour in there. So then that way there's like an easy pour spout and the lid comes off quite easily. And yeah, so I have to refill this with my 20-kilo bag and that's it. So I will see you guys later. Hey guys, really sorry for this terrible setup, but we are currently cooking dinner and I almost forgot to videotape this. But I took that mixture that I had made earlier, dumped it into this bowl, and added 250 grams of water, and now I'm just stirring. So this is when we finally start to actually make the full dough. So once this is pretty combined, I'm gonna add flour.
Hello, Insta Universe.
Nick is barbecuing some homemade burgers right now.
I needed to refill the cat corrector.
AKA the fire putter outer.
Patented cat corrector.
Okay guys, so this is what the water or the mixture kind of looks like. Now I'm going to add some flour, and I did refill my little container. Okay guys, I don't know if you can see that, but I added 400 grams of just all-purpose flour, and now I'm gonna mix that up. And for your entertainment, Kat is freaking out. So you kind of notice me just scrape down the sides. You really want to get that flour. It is very hard to mix, guys. If you can't see, I'm really trying to get it. But that is essentially it. And we're gonna let that sit for 20 minutos. Okay guys, we are back again, and this time we are going to squirm or squeeze or whatever you want to call it. Basically, I'm sticking my hand in and I'm squeezing the dough through my fingers for about 5 minutes. So hey Google, set a timer for 5 minutes.
Do you make sound effects when you do that?
Can you get the salt out from the cupboard on the top of the stove there?
Yes, master.
You are allowed to get this out, master.
Thank you. See, now it starts to look more like a dough. You guys can see it's pretty sticky. Okay, and the next step is adding 11 grams of salt and doing this again until I don't feel any more salt grinds or coarse grinds. Can you get that bowl that's in the drying rack? And can you put some olive oil in it? And yeah, perfect. Now Nick, my little assistant, just swirled some olive oil into that bowl for me. And now I'm gonna take it and transfer this dough into there. It's a workout, let me tell you.
Hashtag grip strength.
Let's take the dough. I like to just kind of form it slightly in the olive oil, so it's just a little bit nicer looking. This is what it looks like. I am going to go ahead and cover it with a wet tea towel, clean tea towel, and let that sit for about an hour or so. We are going to go for a walk, and yeah, I will show you guys the next step when we get back. Hey guys, so I'm back now. Nick and I just went for a little walk, and it is the next step of the sourdough. So it is the stretch and fold time. Now we let that sit for another 45 minutes. Okay guys, so this is one of the last steps before the bread is ready. So this is the first shaping step. So it's gonna be a little hard for me to show you, but I'm gonna try my best. So yeah, I'm just gonna start doing it. So there is the lovely formed dough. This is the first forming. This has to sit on the flour for 20 minutes uncovered, just to kind of set. So technically there is a seam underneath, but in 20 minutes I will show you the final step before it relaxes for the night. The final shaping step is another stretch and fold, but this time we're doing the top first, then the two sides, and then the bottom. The bottom is going to be pulled up and over, so it kind of covers the full seam. Before this point, I had already soaked a dry towel in flour, and that's what's going to line my bowl for the dough, and then I'm going to put more flour on top and then cover the dough. The flour just makes sure that the dough does not stick to the towel. We're gonna cover it in a plastic bag and put it in the fridge to rest for 14 hours. Hey everybody, so it is now the next day. The bread has been, or the dough, has been sitting in the fridge for the last 14 hours or so. It is ready to go in the oven. I'm gonna get Nick to help me out with the recording of this one because I have right now let me turn on the light and show you. I have one of our Corningware dishes. So we don't have a Dutch oven, so I use like a covered, I think it's called a Corningware dish, and I use that. And what you're supposed to do is you're supposed to preheat the oven with that in there to 500 degrees. Excuse the dirty oven, but it is sitting there, it is warm. I have to take that out, put the dough from the fridge in there pretty quickly and put it back in. So Nick is gonna record that in just a little bit. Okay guys, moment of truth. Let's see what this dough looks like. Let's see, let's see. Ooh, so pretty. So this is the dough. Right now the seam is on the top, so this part will actually go on the bottom when I put it in the cookware. Okay.
We be filming.
This part scares me. Ready? And go.
There should be intimidating music happening right now. Trying to get into your hands here.
Ah.
Oh yeah.
It's a little bit messy, but that's okay. How does it look?
I think it looks good.
Okay, now it's got to go in the oven. So lid on at 500 for, I think it's 30 minutes, and then lid off for 20 minutes. So, hey Google, set a timer for 30 minutes.
Sure, 30 minutes. Starting now.
Okay guys, real quick, totally forgot to do this part, but we have to score the bread first. So there's so many different designs. Go in on a 45-degree angle into the dough. You're supposed to use a paring knife. I don't have one, so I'm using a fish fillet thingy.
It's my fillet knife.
You just score it however you might like. And now it's going back in the oven. Hey guys, I just realized I didn't really close out this video. I hope you liked my little newbie journey into making sourdough. Let me show you what it looks like now that it's finally cooled. We're about to have it for breakfast. Look at this. Like, how amazing is that? It's so fluffy. I'm so excited. So anyway, if you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe down below. We really appreciate it, and we'll be back on Monday with another video. Bye guys.